She stopped walking the second she saw him take it off. The coat slid from his shoulders like he'd done it 100 times before. Clean wool. Expensive. Still warm from his body. He held it out without a word. The man sitting against the brick wall didn't move at first. Just stared. His breath came out in short clouds. His hands were purple. No one else on the sidewalk even slowed down. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. She couldn't hear what was said, but she watched the homeless man stand. Slowly, like his knees hadn't worked right in years. He took the coat, pulled it tight around his chest, and the guy who gave it turned and walked away. No smile, no eye contact, just kept moving. She thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. His name was Daniel, 32, worked in finance, lived alone in a one-bedroom apartment that smelled like coffee and takeout. He didn't make a big deal out of what he'd done, didn't post about it, didn't tell anyone. He got home that night and realized he was freezing. He didn't regret it. But his apartment felt colder than usual. He made tea, sat by the window, watched the street below. Something felt off. The next morning, he reached for his wallet. It wasn't there. He checked his jacket, his bag, his desk, the bathroom counter, the kitchen table. Nothing. His stomach dropped. He retraced his steps in his head. Coffee shop, walk to work, lunch, the subway, that street corner where... Wait. The coat. And he stood in the middle of his living room, staring at nothing. His wallet had been in the inside pocket. He was sure of it. He always kept it there. Always. Which meant the man he'd given the coat to now had his wallet. Credit cards, ID, his Metro card, a family photo. $200 in cash. He sat down hard on the couch. He didn't know whether to laugh or scream. Daniel didn't call the cops. He didn't cancel his cards right away either. He sat there for almost 20 minutes, just thinking. He tried to picture the man's face. Couldn't. It had happened so fast. All he remembered was the cold, the purple hands, the way the guy had looked at the coat like it was something holy. Daniel rubbed his eyes. Maybe the man hadn't noticed the wallet yet. Maybe he would. Maybe he'd toss it. Maybe he'd use it. And Daniel didn't know what he wanted to happen. He just knew he couldn't stop thinking about it. 3 days passed. He used a backup credit card, got a temporary ID from the DMV, told his coworkers he'd lost his wallet on the subway. No one asked questions. But every time he walked past that street corner, he slowed down. The man wasn't there. Daniel didn't know if that made him feel better or worse. On the 4th night, his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something told him to. "Is this Daniel?" The voice was rough, older, tired. Daniel's chest tightened. "Yeah. Who's this?" A long pause. "I got your wallet." Daniel's hand went numb around the phone. He didn't say anything. The man on the other end cleared his throat. "Found it in a coat someone gave me, figured I should call." Daniel still couldn't speak. You there?" "Yeah, yeah." "Listen, I know this is weird, but I wanted to give it back. Everything's still in it." Daniel closed his eyes. "Where are you?" They met at a diner 2 blocks from where it all started. Daniel got there first, ordered coffee he didn't drink, watched the door. When the man walked in, Daniel recognized the coat immediately. It looked better on him than it ever had on Daniel. The man's name was Ray, 58. Graying beard, deep lines around his eyes. He moved carefully like someone who'd learned to take up less space. He sat down across from Daniel and set the wallet on the table between them. Neither of them reached for it. "You didn't have to do this," Daniel said. Ray shrugged. "Yeah, I did." Most people wouldn't. Most people aren't most people. Daniel didn't know what that meant. Ray ordered coffee, black. His hands shook a little when he picked up the cup. "You left $200 in here," Ray said. "I know." "I didn't touch it." Daniel looked at him. "Why not?" Ray set the cup down, stared at it. "Because it wasn't mine." They sat in silence for a while. Daniel wanted to ask questions: where Ray slept, how long he'd been on the street, what happened. But he didn't. Ray spoke first. "That coat saved my life." Daniel looked up. "It dropped to 8 degrees that night. I was going to try the shelter, but they were full. Always are." Ray's voice was steady, flat, like he was reading a grocery list. "I found a spot under an overpass, tucked into a corner, wore your coat and didn't move for 6 hours. Daniel felt something crack open in his chest. "When the sun came up, I checked the pockets. Found your wallet. I saw your face on the ID. Ray paused. "You look like someone who'd miss it." Daniel didn't know what to say. Ray pulled something else out of his pocket, a small, faded photograph. He slid it across the table. Daniel looked down. It was a picture of a little girl, maybe 5 years old, blonde hair, gap-toothed smile. "That's my daughter," Ray said quietly. Daniel looked up at him. "Her name's Emma. She's 16 now. Lives with her mom in Ohio." Ray's jaw tightened. "I haven't seen her in 4 years. Daniel didn't ask why. Ray told him anyway. "I had a good job once, electrical work, made decent money, had a house, a family." He stopped. "Then I got hurt. Back injury. Couldn't work. Got hooked on painkillers. Lost everything in about 2 years. He said it like he was talking about someone else. "Her mom won't let me see Emma until I get clean. Get stable." Ray laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Hard to get stable when you're sleeping on concrete." Daniel's throat felt tight. "I'm sorry." Ray shook his head. "Don't be. I made my choices." But Daniel could see it in his eyes, the weight of it, the shame, the regret, the love that had nowhere to go. Ray picked up the photo, stared at it for a long time. "When I found your wallet, I saw you had a picture too. You and an older woman. Your mom?" Daniel nodded. "She passed 2 years ago." Ray's face softened. "I'm sorry." They sat with that for a moment. 2 strangers, 2 losses. Ray finished his coffee. "Anyway, I wanted to make sure you got this back." He pushed the wallet closer. "Thought about just leaving it at a police station, but I don't know. I felt wrong." Daniel finally picked it up. Everything was there. Cards, cash, the photo of his mom. He pulled out the $200, held it out to Ray. "Take it." Ray's face went hard. "No." "Please." I said no. Daniel didn't push. He put the money back in his wallet, but he didn't put the wallet away. "Can I ask you something?" Daniel said. Ray nodded. "What's the one thing that would help? Right now. Today." Ray looked at him for a long time. "Honestly?" "Yeah. A phone." Daniel blinked. "A phone. I got a voicemail from Emma 3 weeks ago. Used someone else's phone to check it. She said she wants to talk. That she misses me." Ray's voice cracked. Just a little. "But I got no way to call her back. No way for her to reach me." He looked down at his hands. "I go to the library sometimes. Use their computer. But she's a kid. She doesn't check email. She texts." Daniel felt his pulse quicken. "What if I got you a phone?" Ray looked up sharply. "What?" "A phone. With a plan. Paid for." "No. I can't. You gave me my wallet back. Everything in it. When you could have used that money for anything." Daniel leaned forward. "Let me do this." Ray's eyes went red. He didn't cry, but it was close. Why? Daniel thought about it. Because you called me. Because you didn't have to. But you did. He paused. Because you deserve to talk to your daughter. Ray looked away, wiped his face with the back of his hand. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Ray's voice came out barely above a whisper. Yes. They left the diner together, walked 3 blocks to a phone store. Daniel bought a smartphone. Simple plan. Unlimited talk and text. And the guy at the counter activated it on the spot. Ray held it like it might disappear. Daniel showed him how to use it, how to call, how to text. Ray's hands shook the whole time. I'll pay you back, he said. You already did. Outside, the snow started falling again. Ray tucked the phone into the inside pocket of the coat, the same pocket where Daniel's wallet had been. I don't know how to thank you, Ray said. Daniel shook his head. Just call her. Ray nodded. His eyes were wet. I will. They stood there for a moment, 2 men in the cold. Then Ray held out his hand. Daniel shook it. Ray's grip was strong. You're a good person, Ray said. Daniel didn't feel like one, but he smiled anyway. So are you? Daniel watched Ray walk away, the coat disappearing into the crowd. He stood there until he couldn't see him anymore. And then he turned and headed home. His apartment didn't feel as cold that night. He kept checking his phone, waiting. For what? He didn't know. 2 weeks later, Daniel was walking to work. Same route, same street corner. He saw someone sitting there. Not Ray, someone else. A woman, maybe 25, shivering in a thin jacket. Daniel stopped, looked at her, looked at his coat. He didn't think about it. Just took it off, held it out. She stared at him like he was crazy. It's cold, he said. She took it slowly. Thank you. He nodded, kept walking. His phone buzzed an hour later. Unknown number. He opened the text. Just talked to Emma. 2 hours. She wants to see me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ray Daniel read it 3 times. Then he put his phone away, sat at his desk, smiled. That night, he bought another coat, cheaper this time, but warm. He didn't know if he'd give it away, but he liked knowing he could. He thought about Ray, about Emma, about the woman on the corner, about all the small moments that add up to something bigger. A month passed. Daniel heard from Ray twice more. Short texts, updates. Emma had agreed to see him. Ray was staying at a transitional shelter, working day shifts at a warehouse, saving money, getting stable. The texts were simple, but Daniel could feel the hope in them. Then one day, a longer message came through. Emma came to visit. Spent the whole weekend. She said she's proud of me. I never thought I'd hear that again. You gave me more than a coat that night. You gave me a chance. Thank you for seeing me when everyone else looked away. Ray. Daniel read it standing in his kitchen. The words blurred. He wiped his eyes. Typed back. You did the hard part. I just helped you make a phone call. I'm proud of you, too. He hit send. Then he stood there for a long time, looking at nothing, feeling everything. He thought about his mom, about the photo in his wallet, about how she'd raised him to see people. Really see them. Not what they looked like or where they slept or what they'd lost, but who they were underneath all of it. She would have liked Ray, would have told him he was stronger than he knew, would have hugged Emma and told her she was brave for not giving up on her dad. Daniel walked to the window, looked out at the street below. The snow was falling harder now, people rushing past, heads down. He wondered how many of them were one coat away from warmth, one phone call away from hope, one stranger away from everything changing. And he wondered how many Rays were out there, how many Emmas, how many people waiting for someone to just see them. He didn't have answers, just questions. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that's what kept you human. The questions, the not knowing, the choosing to help anyway. Daniel turned off the light, went to bed, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel cold. He felt like maybe he understood something his mom had been trying to teach him his whole life. That kindness wasn't about the big moments, the grand gestures, the applause. It was about the small things, the coat, the phone, the moment you chose to stop and see someone when the rest of the world kept walking. It was about giving what you could, when you could, because you never knew what that small thing might become in someone else's hands. And sometimes, if you were lucky, it came back to you in ways you never expected. Not the coat, not the wallet, but something better. Something that reminded you why any of this mattered at all. Connection, hope, the knowledge that one person choosing to care could change everything for someone else. Daniel closed his eyes. Tomorrow he'd walk past that corner again. Maybe he'd see someone. Maybe he wouldn't. But if he did, he knew what he'd do. He'd stop. He'd see them. And he'd give whatever he had to give. Because that's what his mom would have done. That's what Ray did when he called. That's what Emma did when she forgave. And that's what Daniel would keep doing. One coat, one moment, one person at a time. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Sometimes the smallest act creates the biggest ripple.